What's up, everybody? This is the Rabid Hedgehog with Law Tigers of Oklahoma. Also, let's not forget Amsoil and Derek Enloe Insurance as well, who's helping this channel out. And once again, we're here to discuss the after effects of the dealer meetings. Both Indian and Harley Davidson had their meetings the last couple of weeks, so I wanted to follow up because I did the Millennials and Motorcycle video a couple of weeks back, and I said that I was going to follow up as soon as the dealer meetings and Sturgis and everything else kind of ended, and that way we could see what had come out, because usually that's the time where everything gets out there, all the news is out there. And I honestly thought that I was going to be doing this at the beginning of this video. Woo, yeah, Harley Davidson is back, everybody. New models. They're getting rid of the Sportster, they're getting rid of the Street, they're cutting them out, and they're using that new modular platform to put a liquid-cooled motorcycle out there with better horsepower. We're talking 130 horsepower on a 1200cc bike. That's amazing. Harley's never done that before. We also see complete changing to the lineup in terms of touring bikes. We've added electric suspension, we've added some modern things, but we've kept the price down. Yeah, but let's be honest here. Not number one. Didn't happen. Let's get into what happened. Alright, so pardon my crazy version there. So let's get real here. That's not what happened. Harley Davidson did not capitalize on the excitement and the intrigue of the new models like they should have. They were at the dealers meeting, and I'll post a couple of pictures here, but the Pan America and the Street Fighter literally were just kind of in the background. They were showing as display, pre-production design models only, basically. Now, we got a little bit of news because the Street Fighter shows a 975 on the side of it, which we finally got an engine size on that, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming that there's going to be a range, though, once more on that particular motorcycle. But Pan America, still the Pan America. We don't know anything about it. So what did we actually get from the Harley meeting? And to be honest here, even the dealers were disappointed from what I can see, from what I'm seeing on forums, from what I'm seeing on how they posted, from what I'm seeing just in general. When it comes to Harley Davidson, is they've missed the mark with this particular year. Now, I understand that there's a lot of R&D and stuff going into platforms that are brand new and everything like that. So when it comes to 2020, I was expecting at least one of the new models, at least. What we get is the one that we've known is coming, the number one and only brand new model in my opinion, and that is the Livewire. So we're going to still get the Livewire starting September. So we're at the very end of August. By the time this video's out, we're only a couple of weeks out literally from the release of the Livewire. And that's truly the only new model they got, because they did announce 4 other new models. But I'm sorry, and I gotta say this again, Harley Davidson, parts bin engineering does not a new bike make. Adding in a new engine does not a new bike make. Adding in a different swing arm with a wider tire does not a new bike make. Adding in different handlebars over a different suspension does not a new bike make. And we're starting with the Lowrider S. The Lowrider S is a fat bob with lowrider tires, a different seat, and different handlebars. That's it. That is stupid. That is not a new model. I get it. The Lowrider S, when it first came out in the Dyna series with the 110 Screaming Eagle engine, was revolutionary, basically. It helped revitalize a little bit of Harley Davidson's charm, because it was a monster of a motorcycle, very light, big engine, kind of a hot rod kind of motorcycle, custom gold wheels, all blacked out, cowling, pretty good looking bike for the Dyna chassis. We get a re-release and a reimagining a little bit of this bike. We still get the gold wheels, but they're a little bit thinner. We do get 2 colors. We get a silver and we get the all blacked out look. We still get that kind of same seat that the original Lowrider S had as well. We get the 114 engine. We get everything that made the Lowrider S right in the Dyna chassis in kind of the wrong package. Because let's be honest here, when I talked about redundancy, I said that the Lowrider, even though it's a great name and it's been around forever, it's time for it to go. In this case, if they would have got rid of the original one and snuck this one in and then kept the pricing around the same, then I would have probably not cared as much. Because when it comes down to it, when you go from 107 to 114, it's not much machining at the factory to do that. It's not a $3,000 change. That's asinine, guys. You guys literally just have to change the boring and stroke and all the fun stuff and just a little bit of things in the machine and you're done. Doesn't take very much at a factory, especially mass production. Why you charge this much for this? I mean, it's not a change in the ECU because you don't have to. It's tuned from the factory, already pre-downloaded. There's no change. It's not like you have to do this on the outside by doing a stage 4 kit and adding in new stuff and then needing to change the ECU. This is stuff that's all done at the factory, but you're charging people like they're doing it at the store. That is stupid. Don't do that. It's out of the factory. Make it a price that makes sense. Maybe bump it up a couple of $100 for the bigger engine. That's it. You don't need $3,000 because you're not changing enough. And it's already stuff that's programmable in stock. So this is stupid. I do like the idea of the S models. I do like the idea of the bigger engines. I do like the idea of all that because this chassis is more fun. And when I get a chance to ride a Lowrider S, I'm going to compare it to the original. But the thing is, to me, it's not a new model. It's an 11th model of the same frame. It's a mix match of gas tanks and frame bits and suspension bits and handlebars. It doesn't even come with cruise control like it originally did. It's missing things and it costs more. That was the same rant I had last time. There's really no point in beating this horse anymore. This is why we are sick of how Harley Davidson is doing things right now. They didn't capitalize on what they could have by getting the modular platform out there faster. And I pray that this is going to be affordable. I really, really do, because I don't want to see Harley Davidson die. I want quality American motorcycles. I want to ride them. I love my Japanese motorcycles. I love my Italian motorcycles, but I desperately want two great American companies fighting each other to become supreme again. Bring it back to the pre-war era where each of you guys were going at each other with new technologies and trying to beat each other. Right now, Indian is so far in advance. And you guys just are not even trying right now. I mean, you guys gotta rework your touring platform. You gotta get away from 2-inch to 4-inch-ish suspension travel. That's not even basically on any bike. There's nothing out there with that much suspension travel, not 4 inches. You're basically looking at 2.5 to 3 inches at most for most Harley Davidson. You're not looking at good, comfortable rides. You're not looking at powerful machines. You're looking at old school stuff being reworked, revamped, and just warmed over. And that's the same thing with the next new model, which was the Heritage having chrome again. Just the 107 version, not the 114, but anyway, I'm done with that one. And then there was the Road Glide Ultra, which I said in the last one as part of the redundancy thing, maybe cut it or the Ultra Classic or both, because technically they are redundant to each other. Well, we got the Road Glide Limited. No more Ultra, just we got the Limited. All we did was, add different colors. You can go black, you can go chrome. You finally get heated grips like the rest of them. But it's, $29,000. So that's a fail. That's not new. That's just another Partsman bike. Tri-Glide CVO. I don't even want to go there. $50,000 when the Polaris trikes are way more stable, faster, better in every way, and much cheaper. There's also a lot of convertibles in this case now, because we're now getting into like BMW territory in price. We've already surpassed most of the Mazda Miatas. We've surpassed very good driving convertibles that get the same effect as a trike, that are way more stable and safer and all this other stuff if you want to keep going, that have more goodies for them than the $50,000 trike. I get that that's some people's jam, but no, not mine. Dumb. One new model came out for 2020. Don't let the hype of 5 new models get to you. When Harley Davidson promised 110 new models, we figured it would be some mixing and matching, and a lot of people joked it was the paint color changes. So far, paint color changes and mixing and matching is more or less what we got. Like I said, maybe 7 new models at most. But there's not all bad news. I wanted to get the negativity out of the way. So when I talked about it last time, I was talking about a bunch of redundancy. Now there's two things that we learned from the Harley-Davidson meeting is that yes, they do have the Street Fighter with an engine size and pretty much an almost final production trim and a Pan America as well. I'm expecting that these bikes are going to be released probably EICMA or something a little later this year. Hopefully we do get to see those because those are more targeted toward a global market. Harley-Davidson's trying to expand 2 million new riders across the entire world, not just the US. They got a long way to go because if you're only selling 200,000 bikes a year, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make more new riders out of people. You're just going to sell maybe 2 million bikes in 10 years, maybe. And that's the biggest problem is that they got to be able to get out there and do a good job everywhere. So these models are more what Europeans expect basically. So they want to see the adventure bikes and the Street Fighter and stuff like that out there in their territory fighting the other European bikes in their territory. That's why I expect them to come out a little bit later. Maybe a mid-model year release. Maybe a 2021 release after next dealer meeting for next September. So they come out in 2020, 2021 model year. That's not a bad thing. There's also, by motorcycle.com, I'll go ahead and post a link down in the description below and kind of show you a picture from the screenshot of this. But there is also another new engine in development by Harley-Davidson that we've found the patents on, and I dig around the patent website all the time, and it just so happened I found it in the article posts and everything like that, so I start reading on it. Of course, I've already seen the patents, and it makes sense. There's a new engine coming out, and it's interesting because instead of the push rods being on the same side, like Harley-Davidson's current are, they're going to be on opposite sides of each other, actuating the valves. So it's going to be a different setup. That's a pretty cool thing. That means this is a completely new engine. Still overhead valve, you know, still true to Harley's nature, but a little bit more modern looking is what it's looking like. That's a good thing. And that's a great thing. You know, they need to innovate. They need to be able to keep going. And maybe this is the new big twin. And maybe I was a little bit premature in saying that the modular series would replace the Sportster and the street model. Maybe the street model gets scooted aside, the modular's put in its place to give kind of that entry-level thing, and then this new engine might take the place of the Sportsters, or it might take the place of the big twin. The biggest thing is we don't have sizes. We have parts, we have how they're arranged, we don't have a size of engine yet. It's not quite out there. We know it's V-twin, we know everything like that, just do not know where its displacement range is going to be. So is it going to be the new Sportster engine? Is it going to be the new big twin engine? We'll see coming up. This is kind of a brand new thing that just came out that's new to us. We need to keep researching it, watch for more patents, watch for more trademarks. I like to do that to see what the names are, see what everything's going to happen, and maybe we can see something pretty cool come out of this engine. I'm excited to see a new engine coming out because we know Indian with the Challenger, I hate that name. I'm sorry, the Indian kind of disappointed at their event as well because, let's be honest here, they announced but did not fully show the Challenger. So I'm a little bit worried that we've gone Dodge on us here because, I mean, come on, guys. We don't need the Indian Challenger Hellcat. That's just... Let's stop. You guys had a lot of names you could have gone back on. The Indian Blackhawk, the Indian Warrior, the Indian Brave. You could have come up with a better naming convention to match more like Challenger. Why are we doing Challenger? That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm a little bummed about the name. Hopefully there's still some time to change. They trademarked 3 different names. Like I said, we dig through that. A lot of motorcycle.com and motorcyclists and a lot of magazines look through that as well. And of course I saw Raven, Raptor, Challenger. Those are the 3 names, and it looks like Challenger's the one sticking. Indian, if you're listening to us though, please do not do Challenger. Please re-trademark, get Brave, get Warrior, do something about that. Just let's forget Challenger existed. Let's get something a bit better because we don't want to end up, you know, getting confused between Dodge and Indian. We don't want you guys to get lost in between there with the same name. That doesn't make sense. So another good thing we're talking about with Harley-Davidson, back to them, is that when we talked last, it was about the absolute amount of redundancy within Harley-Davidson's line. We talked about there's too many Sportsters, too many Softails. Now there's way too many Softails, too many touring bikes, other things of that nature. Well, the good news is that for 2020, we have seen a pare back of some of the models. In the Sportster section, you've lost the 1200 Custom, which I actually did say that's time to go because there was the Iron, there was some other 1200s, the 48 as well. That took its place. You also took out the Super Low 83. That one's gone now. 48 Special, gone now. So you just have essentially 4 Sportsters now, not 7. And then, of course, you're going to have now the base being the Iron 883, the next the Iron 1200, the next the 48, and then the Roadster. That's the last one. The most interesting thing is that does eliminate the walnut 4.5 gallon gas tank because that was on the Custom. That now leaves it with the peanut tank between 2 gallon and 3.3. So that can either spell that the end of the line is coming and they didn't want to manufacture as many parts. So that's why they got rid of that tank. That's why they got rid of that particular one. And that way, and the Super Low also used the walnut too. So both of those use that walnut 4.5 gallon gas tank. They're both gone. That makes me wonder if they wanted to get rid of those. That way they didn't have to manufacture those tanks anymore. That way they didn't have to sell all that out to make way for a new line. So that can kind of give a hint that with everything kind of getting that same gas tank, kind of in the same suspension groups, kind of the same everything, now you're looking at a possibility that Harley-Davidson is getting rid of the Sportster still, and the modular platform is indeed taking it over, and that new patent showing up is for the Big Twin. The next thing is that they've also gotten rid of some of their other models. Like in the Softail line, there's no more Fat Bob 107 and no more Breakout 114s. However, the prices stayed at their elevated mark, which I seriously don't agree with. As stated before, manufacturing the engine and doing it right there in the factory is not buying all the components and putting it together and therefore being able to charge that price. It needs to be done for what's done at the factory to make it better and easier to obtain. But there's still everything else out there. There's still 11 different models from Lowrider S to FXDR to everything else. There's still too many Softails. Now we move over to the touring line, and that's where you see some change. So we kept the Electric Glide standard. Like I said, I don't know why to keep that one. They should just take the stuff out of the Street Glide, call that one the standard, but I get that there's the existing police bike that they're basing that other one off of, and I mean, in a way, it's not eliminating anything. It's allowing you to sell out the stuff because you're not selling the police bikes like you used to. You lost a lot to BMW, so you threw it out there so that way you can start getting rid of those messes too, because that could signify with this new engine a frame change very soon. So the last time we've seen this, there's a lot of tired motorcycles riding the Rushmore platform of 2014. So, and before then it was 09. So we're due for frame change coming up on a Harley-Davidson Touring. They did get rid of the Ultra Classic though. And that was kind of a bold move because that motorcycle has been around a long time. They've left the Ultra Limited in its place. That's the one that's got the actual, it does have the tour pack and everything, but it doesn't have the 107, it has the 114. It's a twin-cooled engine. It's not a full air-cooled engine like the Ultra Classic. This is one that has the same things as the Road Glide Ultra, so it's like they're consolidating everything into kind of one model, so that way you have all the same stuff, so you can start getting rid of all those components, and that could also signify that we have a frame change coming up as well. That's also kind of one of those things that I look at. Of course, like I said, the elimination of the Road Glide CVO, that was one that disappeared as well. So you look at Harley-Davidson is paring back some models, which is a sign that they are at least looking at redundancy and trying to pare back on it. And I would prefer that they seriously still get rid of several different models. If they're going to do what they did with the Lowrider 107 needs to go away. The S needs to stay in its place. And basically just kind of get rid of some of those other redundancies, because really They crept up on prices quite a bit. The reason why they're doing that, and this is kind of what makes me sick, it's almost like we need to send Gordon Ramsay in there. You can't take away quantity and add price to your merchandise to sell stuff. It's like when they're selling too little food for too much price and stuff like that. That doesn't help you either. Yeah, sure, it's better profitably, but in the long run, it's going to hurt you because nobody's going to want to buy it. And that's where Harley Davidson suffers right now, is they still got those last minute stragglers coming in, purchasing these motorcycles at these high prices, and they're taking advantage of them by moving them upscale in price more and more and more every year. They sneak them up here every year, and that way they can catch that last bit and make profits on these last bikes. And when that runs out, they can't make profit anymore. They're selling less and less and less and less. It's not just tariffs. This has been going on long before the tariffs. This has been going on for years. They can't simply blame current trade stuff on this. It literally is them not catching the market. There's some good signs, there's some bad signs, but the whole thing is hopefully they will recover, because like I said, I want to see both. So, am I excited about this new lineup? I want to see the Livewire. I want to ride it. I want to do the Lowrider S for you guys. That way I can compare it to the old one, because there's going to be a bunch of these old ones on the market, you know, for pretty decent prices coming up, you know, and they're good bikes. They're great bikes. Is this one comparable? Do you want to spend 18 grand on it? We'll find out. You know, and that's the whole thing. Is like, is there still something out there that's rideable that people are going to be interested in? Yes, but maybe the price is too much. And that's the biggest thing is that Harley is suffering from right now, is getting it right. They're taking out, you know, quantity, and they're selling it for too much, and it's not a good thing. They need to cut back. They need to get more models that are affordable, and they will sell more of those, and it will offset their higher dollar ones, and then that way we can start getting some profitability in there. We're seeing Indian kind of going downscale a little bit as well. They've eliminated everything in the Chief line except for the Dark Horse. They've eliminated some other things. They've added the FTR. They're adding some smaller motorcycles. We're going to probably see them continue on that trend to, you know, focus on more affordable, smaller motorcycles. Of course, the Challenger first. But you didn't get much out of the dealer meeting from Indian like we did with Harley. Harley definitely, their stuff's bigger. People follow them quite a bit more because they want to know where this company's going. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have a video next couple of months when the next few motorcycle shows come out that we talk about the new line, and we're excited again about an American motorcycle company. So I just wanted to get this video out there since everything's been done. I was excited before that other one, hope, and had a lot of hope, but it was I was kind of punched in the face by the announcements and kind of the whole thing about that steam that they had. Everybody was gaining steam. Everything looked like it was going to be awesome, and they just didn't take advantage of it. Hopefully you guys saw that too. Hopefully you guys are still excited though that there is a future, like I am. Like I said, get that negativity out of the way. We have some positive things. They've pared back. We've got a new engine patent coming up. We're probably going to find a new frame. We're going to probably find some more things on patents and more trademarks and stuff like that. And the motorcycle industry in the United States will grow once again. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you have any more questions, or if you want to add it to the discussion, always use the comments down below. Anything I mentioned, like I said, motorcycle.com and the article about the engine and all that, it'll be in that description. And also check out our sponsors down there as well. Keep that shine set up, and we'll catch you on that next ride.